views and opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Is a triangle of Africans dispersed. We speak to the world across deserts, jungles, savannas, shorelines, creeks, mountains, rivers, cities, neighborhoods, barrios, and favelas. We speak across boundaries, invisible and visible. We speak across color lines, dividing for centuries. We speak into the great arms of heavens and earth, embracing ancestral spirits with our breath now. From past to present to time beyond time's time, we speak from old and young hearts to you who came through bellies of destruction, from captivity through slave caves, through the door of no return. Bodies as commodity, branded as inhuman. You who stand as an ascendant of Ma'afa. From Accra to Sanga Bareku, to Apam to Anomabo, to Cape Coast to Elmina, to Shama and Sekondi. Sisters and brothers bound together with global memories, histories, realities of the living. Bodies branded with transatlantic slave ship ports and the arrogance of empire. Rio de Janeiro, Bahia, Liverpool, London, Nantes, Bristol, Pemabuco, Cartagena.
Welcome into the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show tonight. It is October the 3rd, 2018. Featherlight. Namaste to you. And namaste to all of those listening. Oh yes, honey, I have a myriad of accents to bring, and I'm working on more. I'm still working on that Nina Simone. Yes, I'm still working on that. So, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm mellow.
Mellow. Cello mellow.
Today, but I am mellowed out now, ready for the show.
All right. Well, the music that we're listening to, you love it? The music?
Yes.
That is, the song title is the Pan-African Prayer, and is the music by a group called In the Tradition, an African, Pan-African centered band, musical band, like Earth, Wind, and Fire, like where they're actually playing the xylophone and the saxophone. Music. Oh, I love to see Earth, Wind, and Fire perform. And I mean, goodness gracious, just watching them all on the stage, especially when they perform, what is it, Boogie Oogie Woogie? Dance, Boogie Wonderland.
Yes.
Boogie Wonderland. Yeah. I was thinking about Boogie Oogie Woogie till you just can't boogie no more. That was my jam. Boogie, hey, boogie no more. Because I had an uncle named Boogie.
Yeah.
So we love that. All the boogie down songs. So anyway, Featherlight, we are here tonight and we are having part 2 of reclaiming our culture with music. And that's why we were playing the Pan-African Prayer by In the Tradition band. And that's a band that you can check out in Detroit and Canada. They hail from Detroit, Motown, baby. The deep. The deep, baby. So, speaking of the deep, Flint still has dirty water, poisonous water, and we are going to talk more about that when we give our review of Fahrenheit 11/9, Michael Moore's documentary, where he touches on the filthy water in Flint. Filthy water in Flint. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, gosh. Okay, so music, a constant and essential element of African traditional cultures. It served as a function of teaching as it delights. And so we are talking tonight about reclaiming our culture through music. Featherlight. Music. As we raise our frequencies and lift our vibrations. And music is all about that vibration and that frequency. Different frequencies have different effects. Various frequencies have different effects on your body, and they can be healing. Absolutely. Music is the heartbeat of the universe. I think that's what some people say. The heartbeat of the universe. The universal sound.
The universe has a sound. Just like the music that we play, it has a sound.
Yes.
Its sound is Om.
And when you meditate, just by saying Om, that heals so many parts of your body, so many organs, your emotional state.
Yeah.
So meditate with Om.
Yeah.
Saying Om. With our
really
solar,
feel it.
And feel it. Feel the vibration. Now, I used one of the mudras, which we did post on the MBS BTR page. Remember, join the BTR community by going on to Black Talk Radio Network, and you can join BTR community for $24 a year. That way you can follow the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show group page, and you'll see all the mudras that we speak about, some of the pranayamas, some of our topics as well on the page.
Videos coming.
More to come. So I used one of the mudras, one of the solar plexus mudras, and then I was meditating, and then I used, or I said rhyme, and I could feel the vibration. And the lady that was instructing, I watched this on YouTube, the lady that was instructing the meditation, she gave us 2 different ways to say RAM and to see which RAM you would feel the most vibration. And that's the one that you use. So I'll post that video too. It's for opening the solar plexus chakra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll share that one. So anyway, you can follow us at on the Twitters at MB Spirit Radio. Follow us at the Twitters. On the Twitters. Follow our the Google Plus. Follow us on Google Plus also at Mind, Body, and Spirit Radio Show. All right, shall we open with our poem?
Yes, please.
Yes, please do. Okay. Please. Harlem. Can I get some snaps, please? Thank you. Harlem, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat or crust and sugar over like a service? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Now, see, if I was on stage, I could really perform that. I really could.
I could see you doing it just on stage. I could see your body into it and your facial expressions, and then explode and load like a heavy load. And I wave my arms and all of that stuff like a heavy load. You know, I give you the visual. The visual. Harlem. Yes. What happens to a dream deferred? Yes. That's right, Brother Otis. And see, we'll have a video camera, and then I'll perform. And my goodness, you guys should see Feather Light perform. Oh my God, like I said, that's a one-woman show. Sell out, okay? Just sell out the auditorium. Sell it out. All right. I'll move on to my quote for tonight. Where's my quote for tonight? If I do decide to do something like that, you would definitely be the best agent. If anybody's looking for an agent, she's the one. She could sell a bathing suit to an Eskimo.
Here, put this 2-piece on. It looks really good on you. It goes great with that fur hat. Okay, here's my quote. Maybe you are searching among the branches for what only appears in the roots. And that's a quote by Rumi. Looking all around.
It's right
going
there.
Everywhere, doing everything, but not doing what you're supposed to. Letting all of your blessings, or letting all that's there for you pass you by because you're doing what? Working too much, working on somebody else's dream, chasing something else, chasing some elusive whatever.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yes. It's right there.
It's right there. It's all right there. Okay. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. My quote this week again is on self-love. That's what I am focusing on. Self-love. I think if we could get a grip on that, that's what we will accomplish. Okay. I love me some me.
Hey.
My self-care comes first. My pleasure comes first. My joy comes first. My relationships come first. My body comes first. My spiritual practice comes first. My safety comes first. My self-affirmation comes first. My dreams and goals come first. I come first because I love me some me. I even snap for myself. I see. I come first. Put yourself first. I know that's right.
Yes.
I believe in that.
It's not selfish.
Mm-hmm. I'll share my story once again for those who didn't hear this before. I know I've mentioned this before. I remember this one particular person said to me, "You just think about yourself first." I said, "Yeah." Yes. Yes, and in certain situations, of course, I should. Self-preservation. I have to protect myself. You're not thinking about me first.
No.
You're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about your children. After yourself, and probably your parents or something like that. And then I come somewhere on down the line. So don't try to act like you're thinking about me first. Yes.
Right.
Please.
Yes.
Give me a break. Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing that. My relationships come first. My pleasure. We talked about the pleasure principle.
She did.
With the sacred chakra.
Yes.
You are entitled to joy and happiness.
You are. You are. That is your right.
That's your right.
Is your right. Do not deny yourself.
No.
Do not feel that you don't deserve it. Okay? That's part of the self-worth. The third chakra, solar plexus. You deserve it. You deserve it.
And we did post some affirmations for the solar plexus chakra as well. So they're on the BTR's page. So again, join the BTR community so you can follow us. And don't forget to donate to Black Talk Radio Network. Always. And it's just so easy if you just set up their monthly donation. It just comes out. Mine came out on the first. Honey, it's got to get their money on the first, honey, before anybody else. I'm like, dang.
He sure does.
Yeah, it's got to be like snatching that little PayPal money so quick. Like that
PayPal
like
transaction has just occurred. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. BTR. For a good cause.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The lions can continue to tell the tale. So the hunter will not be the victor. The hunter will not be the hero because the lions, we will be telling our story.
That's right. All right. So don't forget the Rewire Your Brain 21-day challenge, which started on last week. And so the 21 days will end on the 17th of October. Now, if you want to start today, if you want to start today, if you got off track or whatever, missed last week, you can start up and then the challenge would end for you on the 24th, okay? Okay. So you can rewire your brain to be happy by simply recalling 3 things you are grateful for every day for 21 days. All right.
And these don't have to be material things, folks. These could be non-tangible things you can't actually see or touch. You could be happy for some inner joy, or happy for the way you are, the way you do certain things. Just happy that you are kind, grateful that you are kind. You have a kind heart. Grateful that you have a pet as a partner who loves you unconditionally. Just things like that.
Absolutely. All right, so 21-day challenge, October 17th, if you started last week, the 24th, and be sure to post on the BTRs, what are you doing during this challenge? You can post some things like, what are you grateful for? One thing that you were grateful for. You can post that, and we can share.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be great. All right. I already see the transformation. And that's what this solar plexus chakra healing is all about, transformation.
Yeah.
Moving into a stronger version of yourself. So our Black inventor for tonight for the light is Benjamin Banneker. And one of his inventions was the almanac, 1791. And we know he also invented the clock, laid the grid for DC and many other things. Benjamin Banneker. All right. So you want to give us a review?
Oh, let's give a 2-minute review. A quick review. Okay. Let's see. The 21-day Solar Plexus Challenge culminates tomorrow, October 4th. So check our postings on the BTR social media. As we've said, we've listed some affirmations, mudras for the solar plexus, some ideas of a blocked or open solar plexus. Sometimes your chakra can be too open. Okay, if you, for instance, it's about your willpower. It's about doing what you say you were going to do, action. Okay, it's about your self-worth, your self-value. So some people, if their chakra is solar plexus chakra is too open, they're too overpowering. There's a sense of abuse of power. Okay, so you don't want to do that either. Your ability to take action, set boundaries, meditating on or wearing yellow, eating yellow foods, being more active, doing something you've been challenged to do. It's the fire chakra, so it's about action. I can and I will. Just say that. I can and I will. All right. So our next chakra, ladies and gents, guys and dolls, kings and queens, will be the heart chakra. So we will begin talking about that. That's deep. That's love. That's how you feel about yourself. That's going to be really good. So the color is green. So get your green out. Get your green out. I've been doing the green thumb. Green thumb. 31 plants on the patio. Okay, reclaiming our culture. We talked about that. We talked about reclaiming our culture in education. And we shared a lot of homeschooling information. It's not as scary as it appears. It is not just for the wealthy. There's a lot of resources and information out there. It's time for us to get back to teaching our own, because we cannot just throw our children away to the wolves. We gave a list of entrepreneurial opportunities that you can start for less than $1,000 investment. And we gave an update on the Dallas cop, Amber Geier. We stated that she had been fired. That's a step. That's a baby step. Certain information about her, however, like her clocking in and out time, her shooting last year of a man she claims tried to take her taser. This is in 2017. The actual wording on the 911 call, the police are withholding that. For privacy reasons, quote unquote. Yet the police and media were quick to release the fact that a joint of marijuana was found in the victim's apartment. A joint of marijuana was found in the victim's apartment. Okay. Gene's girlfriend from his hometown arrived this week to lead the protest. And we talked about Bill Cosby's sentencing, and later we will discuss the sexual assault what we consider as sexual assault, the possibilities of his guilt and date rape and things of that nature. Okay.
Hey, let me mention something about this Amber Geier case just quickly. One thing that's quite disturbing and needs to be challenged is why are they saying that this is an officer-involved shooting? She was not on duty. So I don't understand. That's how it's being labeled as an officer-involved shooting. I thought was when you were on duty. Okay, remember you said she clocked out.
Right.
So she's not on duty.
Whoa.
Why is it being labeled that way? So.
Pay attention to the wording.
I would like to go to Dallas and speak with some of the people there, the activists there. I'm going to try to get in touch with some people I know in Dallas. All right. So Dick Gregory's birthday is October the 12th, and there is a one-man play that's being, let's seeing. I think it's. Let's see. I think the play is in D.C. I want to say, and I heard that this brother. I do not have his name in front of me, but I heard that this brother is just phenomenal. He is awesome. He goes through the lifespan of Baba Dick Gregory.
Oh,
yes!
Wow, what a show!
So if you're in the DC area, or would like to go to DC, go and check out that play. I just have to mention this, Featherlight, is one of our hot topics as we go into the review of Fahrenheit 11/9. Houston City Council members did vote unanimously today to ban the sex robot brothel that was set to open in the Galleria area. So now the ordinance allows the business to only sell the robots, but not allow the customers to use them inside the business. Wow. I'm like, a sex robot?
Wow. Talk about desperate. Ooh.
But you know what? We say desperate, Featherlight, and we shouldn't judge. Because remember,
I'm sorry.
That's because you know what? Now, I was reading.
Buy the robot. Go for it.
Listen, right, go for it, because I think I was reading an article or listening to some commentary. It was some commentary, debate on the whole idea of the sex robot brothel. And so one lady, I think she was a sex therapist, and she said that, and she was a young Black lady too. She said that she has a lot of clients that come in and they do have like I guess it's classified as a mental disorder, whereas they have difficulty connecting with people. And so they have difficulty meeting someone and developing a relationship with someone. And so this is an avenue for them to have their sexual relations or relations with someone that for them is the closest semblance to a human being that they'll ever get to, and what they think in their lifetime. It's complicated, but I really didn't want to see a sex brothel, robot brothel in the city of Houston. Oh God!
But you know what? I just while you were talking, my earlier comment, that was just off the top of my head. It sounds kind of crazy, but I do know that would fit for some people, and I do know that some people have social problems, social disorders. So, with that said, the movie where the whole town was robots, and they have sex, and what was the name of that? With Anthony Hopkins, he was the leader. He was
the Westworld.
Westworld. Yes, yes, and they were robots, and they
were robots,
like real people. They looked like real people. They talked like real people, and then they would die, and then they would come back. So
go back to the lab, get your gunshots patched up.
Yeah, get it all patched
New
up.
arm.
Got all 15 bullets, and patched them back up, and they go back out, and they never knew anything happened. But
never knew.
I wanted to make a point. I don't know.
Well,
carry on.
Okay, so we went to see Fahrenheit 11/9, and we actually went to see it the day it came out. And goodness, Michael Moore, I would have to say, definitely another great documentary. I love documentaries anyway. I love Michael Moore's documentaries because they really deal with social ills and topics around the politics of the world today. And in this particular documentary, he hit on different topics like Trump. Trump juxtaposed the Nazis when Hitler rose to power, the Third Reich. And what was really poignant to me, Featherlight, I would have to say, though, was the storyline focusing on Flint
Yeah.
And so he walked you through the entire, all the stages of the changeover and the decision to switch the water. Mm-hmm. There was nothing wrong with the pipes. Mm-hmm. There was nothing, nothing that they needed to do other than just replace the pipes if that's what you really want to do. But it was really all about giving contracts to their friends. As always, this is what these people do. Mm-hmm. At the expense of some innocent people. And the health practitioner, I think she was one of the health practitioners, like the phlebotomist or something, one of the lab technicians, noticed that yes. So she was required by the state to submit the test results. And she was instructed to alter the results so that the results would not show high quantities of lead.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why the governor has not been escorted out in handcuffs like Bill Cosby was escorted out the courtroom in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Or anybody else that committed some type of crime or has been convicted of a crime. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
convicted with the
so
crime.
much proof.
Those were criminal acts.
There's evidence. There's evidence. It's not something where I think or I suppose or it could have been. It's factual. The people are actually saying
there.
Yes.
The proof is there. And
it's horrid.
And the people, Michael Moore touched on how the people were dying from Legionnaire's disease. When President Barack Obama came to visit Flint, and so he was speaking to the people, and you know how when he speaks in front of a black crowd, primarily black crowd, then he has to wag his finger at you and berate people. Take off your house shoes. Remember that time he said, take off your house shoes and put on your marching boots.
Yeah.
I didn't even have any house shoes at that time, Barack Obama. But anyway, so he tells the people, I remember when I was a child, this is to the audience, the Flint audience. When I was a child, I may have scraped off some paint and had a little lead in it, and I might have tasted it a little bit, and look at me, I turned out all right. And when he said that, the people were so hurt because they said that they thought he was going to come there and declare a federal emergency, have all the pipes fixed, bring all the money needed in, bring all the health care, the counselors and therapists necessary for restitution. But no, he makes a joke. An insulting joke.
It was very heartbreaking.
Very heartbreaking. And that's exactly what one of the ladies said. She said, when he came here, I thought of him as my president. When he left, she was disappointed. She was hurt. I can't remember her exact words, but she said she was very hurt. She spoke to the fact that she was very hurt and disappointed in his joking response to their tragedy. What was important or salient to you, Featherlight, in the film?
Okay. I want to stay on the Flint water.
Yes.
Part because that just stood out with me more than anything else. Although there were other things in there we could talk about, but I want to lean on this because it's still happening. I had already had my feelings about our past president, so it was not like, but to actually see former President Barack Obama stride off the plane like Superman coming to the rescue, and he strolled across that airstrip, and everybody had this gleam in their eyes like, yes, we finally got through to somebody. They're coming to see about this mess. Our children are dying, and people are dying, and finally, Here he comes, our president. He's going to see for himself.
What they did to us.
What they did to us. So, as Black Rose said, he got up and made the little joke, and I admit I was a little taken aback because I thought that was very poor taste, because what he was doing was diminishing this big, humongous problem that they had, and you're just taking it and making it tiny and putting it in this little bag. Like, oh, don't worry. But then, when he did the fake cough, oh, can somebody give me some water? No, seriously, I really do need some water. And so somebody brought him some water real quick in a glass so that everybody can see that this is water. This is Flint water now, y'all. So he takes the water, because he has did a couple of fake coughs, and he puts his lips at the top of the glass, and then he puts it down, as if to say, see? All this mess y'all talk.
If I can drink it, you can drink it too.
If I can drink it, I'm the president. If it's okay for me, it's okay for you. And everybody can see. What I really like about Michael Moore's films is that he shows you the actual people doing and saying the actual things. He shows you facts. He shows you in chronological order, this is what happened, this is what happened. And then later on, we heard about him sitting in the meeting, President Obama, sitting in the meeting with the Flint people. And then again, he takes a sip of water. The same thing that the governor or mayor, whoever it was, did the same. But they didn't really drink the water. They just put their lips, like we're some fools. We're not idiots. You didn't take a gulp. And within 5 minutes, what did he do? Where's that turpentine? Where's that whatever it was I'm supposed to drink to get that taste out of my mouth? Because, hey, I'm just saying, that was an insult. And so the lady that you mentioned, she said, when he arrived, he was my president. But when he left, he was not. Those were her exact, and the I can't even think of the word on her face. Her face had fallen. It's like, I can't believe that you,
because they were all along the street, lined the street. People lined the street to greet him as his motorcade arrived in Flint. So it was a very joyous moment. The president is coming here to save us. And what does he do? Insult them.
And they are still drinking dirty water.
They have poisonous water with E. coli.
Dirty is under, it's not enough. Bottled water for everything, to bathe, to cook. And then they have to pay for it. And then the water bill is still high. Okay. Let me calm down.
I know. I'm not even going to go into the part about Trump that he touched on in the documentary and the Fahrenheit 9/11. If there's something that you would like to say, I mean, pretty much it's what we already know, that this man... we have Trump in office. I just can't give him my energy like that.
Nope. I have very little comment when it comes to that topic, because my energy would best serve on something else.
So,
like my did you know later on.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Was there anything else in the movie? I mean, that was pretty much. Like I said,
that's what thing. Really, and I really would like to see it again, because it was so much, and then I could give some more feedback, and I can take some notes.
Definitely.
That part right there, that just that hit me like a ton of bricks, even though I like I said, I already had my feelings about the whole situation. But that right there, seeing him actually do that, like, really? Really?
You know, people say he hates black people. So
You're certainly not in love with him.
For our Doing the Damn Thing, tonight we are highlighting Nigeria's Silas Ndukunle, one of the world's highest paid robotics engineer. And he was featured on Forbes magazine as one of the 30 under 30 lists for technology. So he is the founder and CEO of Reach Robotics, a company that fuses gaming, robotics, and augmented reality. Wow. So what if it certainly is anything robotics, gaming. Look at the robotics sex brothel that was about to come here to Houston, and it would have been the first in the United States, right here in Houston, right in Houston. Go ahead,
not too far from where I used to live.
Yes, right there in the Galleria area, exactly. Let's see. One of his first robotics was handmade out of a baked beans can and a robotic face.
Wow!
Isn't that something? That's usually how those children do it. They'll find a toaster and toaster parts and things like that, some cans and a string, and make a little robot. So that's how Doing the Damn Thing.
All right. Where's my little blinky? There we go. All right, so it is time for mine. Did you know?
Did you know?
Okay. 5 things to understand about narcissism and how to protect yourself. Okay. So this is very important. Listen, because some people may say, that's not important. That's boring. But really, it is important to know who you're in a relationship with. And I'm not just talking about somebody that you sleep with. I'm talking about at work. I'm talking about the neighbor that you speak with every morning. I'm talking about your sister, your brother, your mom, your dad. Relationships are just occasions where you constantly have to interact and communicate with certain people. Okay, so it's important to know who you're dealing with so that you will know what you are up against. Because narcissist people are in your life. Listen to this. 5 things to understand. Number 1, they will always use you. Narcissists use people as stepping stones to get what they want, or use people as hurdles to get what they want. Look only at their actions, not their words. You will see it clearly. The empathy part of their brain is either missing or very dysfunctional. They view people as objects to serve as a purpose in their life, like a coffee pot to make coffee. The coffee pot does not have feelings. Narcissists get off on using people. Number 2, the narcissist will never see you as equal. They do not want an equal relationship at all. They want and need to be first and will do whatever they have to do to make sure that they are the most important person and the only one who matters. On the outside, they have a very inflated concept of who they are, but underneath, do not like who they are and will do everything to keep you from finding out the real, true self. Number 3, any attempt the victim of a narcissist makes at independence or equal treatment will be seen as extreme threats by the narcissist, and they will react to them as such. Number 4, the victim will be attacked for having feelings and for thinking those feelings matter. The narcissist cannot understand, nor do they care. All that matters is himself. Number 5, pathological narcissistic disorder is far more than just selfishness. A person suffering from narcissistic personality disorder can only be happy when they have crushed their narcissistic supply or victim beneath their feet. It's the only thing that makes them feel better about themselves. If they cannot dominate, oppress, and control, they will never stop trying. It is important to remember a narcissist can only feel like a person by making others feel less. This is how they feel validated. It can never be any different, so don't think that you can change. They can never see others as equal. To do so would be suicide for the narcissist. And here's a little bonus I'm going to throw in. Narcissists are professional liars and will never admit to a lie. They feel they are above lying. Bam.
They feel like they are above lying.
Above lying. And some of you out there, within the listening of my voice, you know somebody that fits those descriptions. At least 3 of them. You know some people like, damn. Think about it. Okay, those are my Did You Know.
Oh, thank you for sharing the Did You Know. So if you see some of those traits and qualities in a person, that's a narcissist.
Yes, and if you can't run, just be aware of what you're dealing with, and don't try to change them and get them to see your way, because they never will. It's impossible.
And they never will.
Disorder.
They never will. So you just let them be. All right, let them be. So let me see. How about? Let me see. I was trying to get my. Maybe I'll share a little opioid factoid.
Okay.
Just a little opioid factoid. Let me see. What shall I share tonight? Because I was actually going to skip that because we have so much to talk about with the music. I do kind of want to go ahead on, but I'll just share this piece.
Please do.
Yes, because let me just say this. For people that are addicted to drugs, and I know it's difficult. I know it's very difficult to just quit when they become pregnant for the women, but it's causing a lot of how should I say this? It's causing even more stress and strain on the foster care system and CPS. And so many of these children are being placed in the foster care system. And, these are children that are recovering addicts themselves. And so you have some of the grandparents, of course, that are taking care of the children, just like when there was the crack epidemic. But so many, with the difference with this particular opioid epidemic that people are experiencing now, many of the grandparents are addicted too, so they can't take care of the children. That's why there's an overflow of children going into the foster care system. However, one thing that another difference with this particular opioid epidemic that I'm seeing is many of these junkie parents, because that's what you used to call the crack addicts, junkies. Many of these junkie parents, they have a better chance of reclaiming the rights to their child, more so than when women were losing their children during the crack epidemic. Yeah. There are all these programs to help you gain your custody back. Yes. Whereas many of these children that were victims of the crack epidemic, some of them never had a chance to see their parents.
They didn't.
So I just wanted to mention that for an opioid factoid tonight. Just make it quick. Just something for people to think about.
Yeah, that's just something really to ponder on. It's yet another big big area of discrimination. There's so many areas of discrimination that it's just unbelievable. It's just goes the tentacles go so far.
And then another thing too, another quick opioid factoid. When we report these different numbers, these numbers of deaths, like now I think the number being reported for opioid deaths, daily opioid deaths is about 120 something people a day, which, is more than that. What I wanted to say about that is only 17, I think it's 17 states, only 17 states actually report their opioid deaths.
What?
So these are not all the states. Yes. Not all states report.
They don't have to report?
They just figured out how to report that these were opioid deaths. The coroner just, because they were reporting those deaths as like heart attack, but complications to hepatitis, something like that. Stroke. Stroke leading to this or that. Liver damage or something.
Google's Sackler family. They're the
yes. Otis, I'm familiar with the Sackler family. They were the ones that's the family that's been making all this money from the opioid epidemic because they put out the opioids and now they're coming out. I think they're also behind the naloxone, but it's like the Sackler family, and I think it's another family too. But yeah, they're behind the opioid. I mean, they're making billions of dollars off of these people being addicted. The opioid addiction recovery business is a $35 billion business. So guess what? They're going to make sure these people stay addicted. Trust, at least until they make the money that they want to make.
100% owned by the family. Goodness.
Isn't that something?
$3 billion. $3 billion.
Yep, the Sackler family. And I think there's a YouTube documentary on the Sackler family too. I have that in my opioid playlist for YouTube, on my YouTube playlist. Thanks, Otis. So why don't we take a break and then we'll come on back and we'll get into our topic for tonight, reclaiming our culture through music. There's a message in my music. Message in our music, like the OJ said.
Right.
We'll be right back after this break.
Hi, the Black Talk Media Project would like to invite you to become a member of the BTR Community subscription-based social media platform. BTR Community is a platform that was set up for the listening audience of Black Talk Radio Network, the #1 independent Black radio network online. For just $24 per year, your subscription gives you access to an interactive space to share information with like-minded people with your privacy guaranteed. Your subscription will go a long way to help us maintain and improve our current media platforms. It will also help provide a budget so that we can begin the task of establishing localized media centers and radio stations across the United States. The best way to show your support and appreciation for what we do here at Black Talk Radio is to subscribe. Help us to help you be informed. Join btrcommunity.com today.
And when you join BTR Community, remember you can follow us on our MBS page where you can see some of the mudras, some of the topics, and some of the opioid factoids that we may have shared or maybe not have shared. So be sure you join. All right, so wise words being quoted. It is very important that we relearn the art of resting and relaxing. Not only does it help prevent the onset of many illnesses that develop through chronic tension and worrying, it allows us to clear our minds, focus, and find creative solutions to problems. And that's by Thich Nhat Hanh.
Very good.
Learn the art of resting. No, relearn, because we come here knowing everything we need to know.
We sure do. And
Just
we
relearn.
forget. Oh my gosh. That is a very important one for me. The art of resting. Everybody does not know how to rest. You know, it seemed to be something that you would think that comes natural, but everybody doesn't know how to rest. Some people are moving constantly. Some people feel like they have to be doing something all the time. And some people, they don't feel comfortable unless they're doing something. But the body needs to rejuvenate. The body needs to repair. And especially when we put our body under a lot of stress, it really, really, really needs to repair. And any time one gets ill, you have a disease of the body, the first thing they tell you is to rest.
It's to rest.
You have a bad cold, drink plenty of fluids, and get your butt in the bed and rest.
Get your butt in the bed and rest.
All right, I have a quick one. You've believed in the false story of your unworthiness for so long. It's time to try on a new way of being, living, and believing.
Right, living and believing.
That's by Letitia Koto.
Live your life.
So let's get started with our first topic of this evening. We're picking back up with our reclaiming our culture, and tonight we will start with music. Music. Okay, so name this artist. I love music.
Go ahead, fella light. OJ's.
All right. Right.
Oh, thank you.
The healing force of the world. It's understood by every man, woman, boy, and girl. The ocean. Music and art have always been a form of communication in African culture. Music and art, including sculpture, has its roots in the motherland. African tradition is expressed in many different art forms. Dance expresses the emotion, the mood of the people, and the beat of the drum is the heartbeat of the community. The rhythm is like fabric.
Yes.
That holds the people together. Music is energy, sound with various vibrations, just like color. And like color, it has an effect on our psyche, because energy has an effect on how we feel and how we act and how we love. Just like we've been talking about the chakras. The chakras is energy going down different channels, and then they meet together, and they culminate in these different parts of our body. And so they're really energy. And let us not forget that energy plays a role on how we think. I have a playlist for meditating. Okay, I have a playlist when I want to do my yoga and qigong.
Yes, so I love qigong music.
Impact. Then there's certain sounds that allow my creativity to flow, real smoothly. And then I have a playlist for when I want to just completely rest my mind and like go to dreamland, just like shut down. I have to have some kind of, soothing music to say, come on down. So, and who doesn't have a playlist for dancing, right? Right?
Some people may not.
Well, dancers are going like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my playlist.
I couldn't function with that. Don't you say you had a playlist for the shower?
I have a shower playlist, a couple little hits I like. I have like a cleanup playlist when I'm cleaning up around the house, like a cooking playlist, sleep playlist, yoga, writing playlist. Meditation playlist. Documentary playlist. I have all kinds of playlists. But yeah, in terms of music, the music. I have like a Motown playlist. All different types of dance playlists. I certainly do.
Yeah, it just has a way of causing certain feelings in the mind. It either makes the mind be energetic and upbeat and joyful, or it calms your mind. It brings about happy thoughts. So I have a playlist, and I just call it happy music because it just makes me feel good. It makes me happy. So music, yes, music induces feelings of physical affection. Like Marvin Gaye, sexual issues. They affect one's cognitive abilities. I played music when I was visiting my grandmother who had Alzheimer's, and she was in her, the final stages of Alzheimer's where they don't recognize you, you don't say anything or respond. But she used to like to watch me dance, and she would always grab my hand when I danced when she was well. So I would go and visit her, and I would grab her hand and I would dance. And so one day I brought a radio, even though, like I said, she didn't respond. And we would just kind of, I was like, watch me, Grandma, look. And I was just going back and forth. And I had the music on. And then her leg, it bounced up and down a couple of times to the rhythm. It was so remarkable to see. And then when I was dancing at a senior's home, when I was, had my dancing business, I was dancing. And this particular day, it was this lady who had Alzheimer's. It was her birthday, and her husband was there. And he asked me if I would come over and, kind of sing to her, dance for her, whatever. And afterwards, I was packing up my stuff, and he said, I haven't seen her laugh or smile in years. He said, thank you so much, because it's the music. The music has such an effect on the mind, the emotions, and your spirit. It can also invoke negative thoughts and behavior.
It certainly can.
Like distorting one's thinking.
Yes, it will distort your thinking if it's the wrong frequency.
Right.
It hurts.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Well, I was just going to say that I know that when this certain type of, rap music came out, it had this slower kind of beat to it, and like these boom, 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 boom. And people said that when that music came out, because of its frequency, I can't recall right now, but I remember reading that particular frequency, it was like a low frequency, like when we say a low vibrating person.
Right.
Well, this was a low frequency that actually would bring your vibration down. And so people would listen to that music. They would do that syrup stuff, sipping on the syrup and all of that. And they were actually like zombies. They were just laid out, just down. Yeah. And that's what that particular hertz would do to you versus a megahertz or frequency that would help you write a book, help you solve some problems, clear your mind so that you can focus.
Right. Didn't they do some type of research in France and here in the States about listening to classical music while taking the test?
I remember when I was in college, I read about that, at schools like Princeton or Harvard or Yale, there's actually a time and space for people to listen, for the students to listen to classical music prior to taking the test. And they score higher because there was a study with students that would listen to the classical music prior to a test, and they would score better than those that didn't listen to the classical music. And so why wouldn't they adopt that in public schools?
Right,
exactly. I don't know if it's universal in public schools, but why wouldn't it be if studies have proven that it helps them?
Right.
And since you're teaching them to the test, quote unquote, anyway, so give them some classical music so that they can pass these tests.
Right.
Silly people. All right, so it was discovered like that classical music can calm the students down, and make them more receptive to the new information. It can help them focus and it helps with the concentration, helps avoids nervousness. Some people are not test takers.
I'm not.
They can maybe write a paper. They maybe can perform a task, say like some type of what is it, like a chemistry? What is that they do? You know, like in chemistry, in the chemistry lab, whatever. So they can execute those types of tests and classes well. But when it comes to a test, they become nervous, or they're just not good testers. Yeah. And some students have to have a quiet space to take a test. They just can't take a test with other people in the room. Yeah. Because when you're in a classroom, people, they're popping pencils, popping gum, they're shuffling around,
their pencils,
they're blowing their nose,
they whisper, they want to raise their hand,
they want to tap all this other stuff to disrupt everybody else. Yeah. I couldn't take a test in classrooms. When I was in college, I had the accommodations that allowed me to take my test in a quiet room.
I did too.
I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this with all of these distractions. So, as we mentioned, there's certain beats to relieve depression, anxiety, clear past childhood trauma, improve focus, energy levels, etc. And these beats are referred to as binaural beats or isochronic tones. Now, I read that the isochronic tones are more powerful, more effective.
Yeah, I did too.
And listen to these tones and these beats with headphones.
Right.
Get you some good headphones and listen to the beats. That's the best way, more effective. And these beats used together or separate rewire your brain. So listen to some of these beats while we are going through the 21-day Rewire Your Brain challenge, being grateful for 3 things each day. Speak those 3 things that you're grateful for or about. So just as some beats can have a positive effect on the brain, right? Some beats can cause those racing thoughts, incoherent thinking, if experienced for extended periods of time. So scientists, they research the effects of sound, as we mentioned, all day. And these studies have shown that music affects not only the brain and the heartbeat and pulse rate, but also music affects your breathing.
It does.
And electrical resistance of the skin. That was new to me to learn that.
Yeah.
And this is a subtle yet effective way to retrain or program the mind. Sound has been also used, Featherlight, as a warfare tactic in the military.
I'm not surprised.
For the first time, warfare sound was used by the police on our home ground during the Ferguson protest for Michael Brown. It was a very high-pitched sound which caused imbalance and much discomfort to the body. I remember saying that on the live stream. And we don't know, like, the long-term effects of the repeated sound warfare. Years from now, some may wonder why this person and that person got sick, some type of disorder or disease in this entire neighborhood. And it could possibly be from that vibrational level, the vibrational level of that sound. It could damage your cells.
Right.
So sirens come. Oh, yep. Just like the sirens coming through Black neighborhoods 3 to 5 times a night, like clockwork. That jars a person every night. You have to listen to that. And so you wouldn't have to experience that in an affluent neighborhood.
Nope.
Sirens just going through the middle of the night. And then you get up and travel around the next day. That's like here in Galveston. This island is not that big. And I know that, okay, the fire department is, maybe about 5 blocks down. Okay, I get it. And then the hospital is, another, maybe 10 blocks down. Okay, I get it. But when I hear the fire truck go up the street and then you come right back, or the ambulance, and then you come right back, I'm like, wait a minute. But you gonna pick somebody up that quick, and I mean, you know, like, what the hell? So they're just circling around the damn neighborhood, disturbing everybody's peace. And it's a damn noise ordinance. And I'm going to go to the city council or call the mayor's office, and I'm going to tell them I don't see any damn fires when I get up and drive around and go look and see. After I heard this damn fire truck go through my neighborhood 3 times one night, but I see no fires, no house on fire, you know, none of that. So, I mean, what's the problem? What's going on? You know, and at first I thought, I was like, oh, that's those opioid addicts calling 911 all night long. You know, Thursday through Sunday, Monday morning, you know, getting high all damn weekend. You know, but I talked to someone else, and they said the same thing was happening in their neighborhood, and they had to go to the city council because of the fire trucks and ambulance just going through their neighborhood, just deliberately going through, no fire, no emergency, just causing a noise disturbance. Because these people know how that affects your body. All right, that's all I'll say on that. Damn loud ass siren just going through your damn neighborhood all night long.
They know.
I'm like, you didn't pick up anybody that quick and take them right back down the street. No, you didn't do that.
I've seen many police cars go up and down the street, and they turn the thing on, and they're going nowhere. They're going nowhere. They just want to turn it on. They just want to. I've seen it. Okay, when we look at the African traditional culture, sound has been used for healing. Okay, our music was hijacked and used to destroy the love many of us have carried, continue to carry for one another, using destructive lyrics and tones which transport certain vibrations that bring about distressing and life-changing results. Historically, African music has been about healing. It's been about celebrations. The 70s was mostly about love songs and relationships. Then we got to the hip hop, where they delved into the lives of the forgotten, the struggles and the lifestyles of those that we don't hear about, you know. But they got a little bit too much in the face, you know, for the Matrix.
Well,
we don't want to hear about what we've done to you. What?
Right.
What?
Let me ask you this. So you were a young lady in the 70s. What was one of the love songs that you can recall that was like a hit or a touching song? Something that the 70s, like a love song, or some of the lyrics that people would say when you speak of love songs, because you know we talk about like, oh, the music of today is not like it was when men would croon to you, they would sing to you and talk about how they love you and want to be with you.
Oh, let me see.
Songs like that.
Jeffrey Osborne, what was his? He had one song, I tell you, because at first he was with them.
Okay, I think I know what you mean. Is it? I was just getting ready to say, love will come and love will go. Let me see.
Goodness.
Oh, that's on one of my playlists too.
He said, I have never been so much in love.
Yes. And what we have is much more than they can see.
Much more than they can see.
What we have is much more than they can see.
He said, loving you gave me something new that I've never felt, I've never dreamed of. Woo.
Never dreamed of. Yes, baby. Woo, that's a good one, Feather.
Lovers come and lovers go. That's what folks say. Don't they know they're not here when you love me?
Lovers go. Yes. And what we have is much more than they can see.
Baby, don't go. Ooh. Stairway to heaven.
Stairway to heaven.
Step by step.
That's an inside joke, people. Step by step. Woo. Okay. All right. And so you were saying about too much in the face and the Matrix.
Right. So, I mean, those songs were hit, and they were really telling the truth about the life on the street of these people that we, you know, I mean, I didn't know. I had no idea when I saw, what was the movie? Darn it, Ice Cube.
Oh yes, when NWA came out.
No, the first one, not that one. When Boys in the Hood. That was my sort of like introduction. It's like, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, life. Okay. So
that was a good movie.
Yeah,
that's
it was,
classic.
Really was.
Black classic.
Really was. It just kind of you know, because even though I was raised in the projects, I mean, it wasn't like that. It, you know, I didn't hear anything about anybody getting shot, you know. One time somebody got stabbed and everybody was like, ooh, he had a knife, you know. But
right.
So then the musical system kind of hijacked the music and said, you know, let's focus on some other things, like material things you wish you had. Let's do one even better. Let's trash your women, you know. You can say anything on there now, you know, call them bitches and hoes. The more the better for you, money-wise. So that's what sells. Trust me. You know, this was a story that our young artists were told, and here we are. So in time, the energies from this sound is incorporated into the sales, and the individuals, they actually start to take on their behavior. And their train of thought that they're singing about. You know, they start to believe what they're saying. And the trashy talk that the young girls hear about themselves, it starts, you know, getting into their selves, that they're not strong enough, they don't have a man and help raising them to tell them what beautiful queens they are, and don't settle for less than you are worth, and just building them up. And they don't have that in their life. They start to believe these things about them. They start to help the guys. You know, they call themselves bitches, hoes, and they start.
You know what really hurt me is when I began to see the young girls riding with their babies in the backseat as they, you know, pick them up from school or go to the store or something, and I would see them and park next to them, and they're listening to music that's so trashy. And the children, the little 2-year-old baby, just sitting back there listening to it, absorbing all of that, all those low vibrations, all of those sounds and those words. And I say, that baby don't have a chance. Don't even have a chance.
Oh, my goodness. I hadn't thought about that. That is their introduction. There is their introduction to music.
That nasty, trashy mess that they see their parents listening to
over and over again, like a mantra. You know,
so
that's
parents,
what mantra is about.
That's right. So young girls, if you're riding around with, you know, that type of music, talking about this and that, don't think that those children, that's not sinking in, that they're not absorbing that, because children are like sponges. Put some damn Rosetta Stone on for them in the car. Let them start absorbing another language sometime, at least for about 30 minutes while you're driving home or something. You don't have to, you've been listening to that shit all day long. Put something on educational for the child while they're in the car for a change.
We must save our children.
Don't assault them with that music like that. Not even giving them a chance.
Give them a chance at life.
Give them a chance. Damn. Give somebody a chance. Maybe you didn't have that chance, so give your child a chance. Okay. Anyway,
you know, another thing of the consequence of this, I hate to even call it music, but it's sound and lyrics with beat. It's no coincidence of the low self-esteem that many of our young women are facing. It's heartbreaking to see, and it's upsetting. And many of them get up in the morning, and the last thing they think about is combing and styling their hair. They just place one of those bonnets on, and that's their day. That's their whole thing. And now they come in different designs, like leopard and lion, and just making them all fit. Just add $1 more to it. I couldn't believe the array. I was like, look, fashion. Oh my gosh. So there is not as much concern about taking care of the body or exercising or eating properly, because many of them feel trashed by their men.
And we're going to put together that video too. No bonnets. Yes to beautiful headscarves.
Yeah, okay.
Or just put a cap on, put a hat on. There's other options than that sleep bonnet.
Keyword sleep. Keyword sleep.
Keyword sleep. Keyword sleep. Keyword house shoes. Keyword pajamas. Keep them on in the house, not outside.
Right, ladies, let's get back to the switch and the swag. I'm gonna do a spoken word on switch and the swag.
Oh, I like that. Let me write that down. Switch and the swag, baby.
Switch and the swag. Bring it back. That's what we had in my day. Hey.
Especially growing up in Memphis, you better not come out the house without your hair combed. And not looking cute.
Baby, we're not going anywhere with that on. You're going to have to go back in the house. The pretty scarf. I'll wait.
Put a wig on or something. All right. So, shall we continue?
Please.
All right. So, we must reclaim our culture in the way of health, the way of education, the way of music and the arts. Music is an expression. With the giant strides many Black Americans have made in the entertainment industry and otherwise, we as Black people can have our own Grammys, like the TV One Awards. What's that? The Triumph Awards. I'm so glad that they came out with the Triumph Awards and the NAACP, that we came out with the Triumph Awards and NAACP. And there's, I think Dr. Boyce Watkins now has like an all-Black ceremony, and then there was the Black Power Awards, whereas, say, different YouTubers were nominated and won awards for their content or their work in the community. So I'm really, really happy to see us moving into this space of celebrating our own, and that's what we have to do.
Yes.
That's right, celebrating ourselves.
That's what we all have to do. Celebrate yourself. Pat your own self on the back. Ring your own bell. Toot your own horn.
Toot your own horn. Toot your own horn. To allow another group of people who have historically oppressed us, and oppressed our movement towards liberation, our quest for liberation, and our people. It's been detrimental to our wealth, to our health, to our wealth, our standard of living. To waltz in and just take our music, our language, our sound, just appropriate our music, our hair, our culture, everything, and use it against us for butter biscuits. It was butter biscuits on the plantation. So people don't sell our music out. Don't sell our culture out. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's a travesty.
So how do we reclaim our culture in the music industry? We can have our own Academy of Arts for the arts and call it something really cool. That means the same thing in the eyes of society, if that's what some of us want. I mean, we could do our own thing like we're doing now. We don't have to wait on someone else to say how well we did. Using our language, we have always, as Black people, had our own language. Even when our ancestors were hung for speaking their native tongue, others came up with the drums. Okay, sending messages through the drums. Then the drums were banned all the way up into the 50s and 60s in certain states. Then our forefathers and our foremothers, they used singing songs. We were so creative. Wade in the water, I mean, cross the water to get to freedom. You know, using the Mississippi River, and then they said, God is going to trouble water, meaning the dogs will not be able to sniff out your scent because you'll be in the water. God fixes water. Okay, so quilts were used to show the freedom.
I just want to speak to that quickly, Featherlight. Just quickly, that's just like what the OJ said. Message in our music. We've always had messages in our music. Whether it was a love message, an inspirational message, teaching message, educational message, inspiring message. We have messages in the music. And I love when, I can't think of that song right now, the Lauryn Hill song, when she says music is Superstar. I think that's the name of that song. Superstar. Music is supposed to inspire. So how come we're not getting no higher?
Getting higher.
Right.
Yes. That's when they started saying that she was crazy, because she was speaking the truth.
Baby, that was the best
you're selling out. You're selling
of 1999. That was the best album. I think she won 5 Grammys that year. I can still put the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill on, and it bumps. In fact, one of those, what song was that? It was one of the songs from that album playing today when I was on the way home. But anyway, back to reclaiming our culture through music. I'm reclaiming my time. Auntie Maxine Waters.
So we have such an artistic form of communication. It's even been given a name like Ebonics. It just cannot be so understood. So they just, it's named. So our own creative and proper language has been used against us in this case to further break our once strong bond. We've got to get it back. We can reclaim our culture in music by creating music that speaks our truth, like we're just talking on. Music that speaks to our conscious, to our culture, to our pride, like James Brown, I'm black and I'm proud. That was a message. Because some things were going on, and he had to come out with that, and that just lifted people. That pride just shouted, recalling the artists who looked beyond what the normal eyes could see. Artists like Earth, Wind, and Fire, they spoke of deep things like fantasy. When you have a chance, put that song on with new eyes, new ears, and listen to that. Fifth Dimension.
Wait, and look at those Earth, Wind, and Fire album covers. Take some time and just peruse through those album covers. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, they were trying to tell us back then. They were in a whole new... They have album covers where I think people are meditating on the front, the pyramids, and like you said, the fifth dimension. People talked about dimensions. Let's take a quick break, Featherlight, and we'll come back with our African spirit, and then we can pick back up and conclude reclaiming our culture. We'll be right back after this break. You're tuned in to the Mind, Body, and Spirit Radio Show.
Make Black Talk Radio your choice for digital black radio.
I'm proud.
New black media for the new millennium.
And for our African spirit tonight, we are honoring Julius Malema of the EFF, Economic Freedom Fighters in South Africa, Azania, as it should be recognized as Azania. So Julius Malema, they call him Juju, baby. Woo. Child, Juju is not playing. So Juju was born March 3rd, 1981 in Seshogo, Limpopo, and raised by a single mother who worked as a domestic worker in the township. He began his political career at a very young age. He joined the Masuplasa Trailblazers, a movement of the African National Congress, ANC, at the age of 9, where, according to Malema, their main task was to remove National Party posters placed outside police stations. At the age of 14, Malema was elected as both chairperson of the ANC Youth League branch in Seshego and the regional chair in 1995. 2 years later, in 1997, he became the chair of the Congress of South African Students, COSAS, for the Limpopo province. In 2001, he was elected as the national president of COSAS. A young Malema member of the ANC Youth League, his public image, he was known for his controversial socio-political statements, and he's become a frequent target for lampooning. In 2003, as head of COSAS, Malema said in a statement that the student union would do anything, including burning the prison Winnie Mandela was locked in, to prevent the jailing of her. In 2008, he was a student of Winnie Mandela, and that's one reason why I'm so attracted to him, because he's speaking from the tutelage of the mother of a nation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even find out he was, he was so close to Winnie until she passed. And I think they were showing pictures, like during the ceremonies. There were pictures of him and Winnie, and he was like a young boy, just like sitting at her heel, learning from her, as we used to do in the African culture, our African culture. Listen to the elders and get that instruction so that you can take on the reins when they transition, so it won't all fall apart.
Right.
We just keep it going. In June, keep it going. Continue the movement. What did Fred Hampton say? You can kill a revolutionary, but you can't kill a revolution.
The revolution. Right.
In June 2008, he made international headlines by vowing that the Youth League would take up arms in the prosecution of Jacob Zuma for alleged fraud and corruption. Let's see. So after he was suspended, he was eventually suspended from the ANC because he was outspoken, very similar to Malcolm X. Remember when he was suspended from the Nation of Islam?
Mm-hmm.
So Malema, he was also suspended from, this is just like being suspended from the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
Because he was so outspoken. They said that he was so in division within the party.
It is very similar.
Very similar. So after he was expelled from the ANC, that's when he became one of the founders. That's when he decided to establish the Economic Freedom Fighters. And so many people thought that, this would be his fall. He wouldn't be able to maintain his political status, but Malema is like a leader now in Azania. So Malema and Shavambu, both of them, he was also suspended for 3 years. They vowed to continue their fight against the inability of the government to establish international policies beneficial to the development of Azania. They were to do this by establishing a political part of their own, which became the Economic Freedom Fighters, which launched July 10th, 2013. So just 5 years ago.
Wow.
Just 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't either. At the press conference, Malema maintained that the party had devised a definitively different plan to that of opposition parties, such as against Azania. It included the non-negotiable principles of land expropriation and nationalization of mines, both without compensation. Militant movement for economic emancipation, calling for economic freedom in our lifetime. Okay, like now. Not later, now.
Right. I like that.
In our lifetime. We want to see this in our lifetime.
Yes.
So the EFF sees economic freedom as total ownership of economic and natural resources by the previously oppressed and exploited majority, right? And I'm so for that. I totally support them. I ordered my EFF shirt because what they're saying is this land and the resources,
right?
The land and what's up under the land, which is really important, just as important, if not even more. We're talking about minerals.
Mm-hmm.
So they want the rights to that, and they should have that.
They should have that. That's
they should
theirs.
have that. Those minerals are theirs.
I'm so glad that
gold,
was brought up.
The diamonds,
Yeah.
yes, that's theirs. That belongs to them. They are the rightful heirs to that. You had some murderers come in and massacre people for the land. And then you create these laws so that they can't even live on the land, can't own the land, can't own the minerals on their land.
Mm.
And now that they want their land back, you're trying to say that they murdering you. You came over and murdered them.
That's
you
right.
stole the land. So they're saying they want the land back without compensation. They want to farm the land themselves. So they believe that economic freedom results when the people's rights and freedom enable them to decide how to allocate their own economic resources for the development and upliftment of their own lives. Their radical leftist and anti-capitalist and anti-imperialist agenda draws inspiration from the broad Marxist, Leninist, and Fanonian schools of thoughts. They also advocate for free education, free housing, free healthcare, and sanitation. Their policies have been modeled in part after neighboring Zimbabwe and greatly after Latin American socialist rhetoric, specifically that of Venezuela. The Red Beret pays homage to the late Hugo Chavez and evokes an image of militarism and revolution, also resonating with the revolutionary Che Guevara. And that is Julius Malema.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That is so good to hear.
Girl, I believe they're going to bring it home.
He was well
baby.
taught.
I believe South Africa about to bring it home. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Ask for all of it, not just what's on top, but what's beneath.
What's beneath, because they know who they are and they know the value of their land. And even though those Boers are trying to say that they're native to the land and all, you might be, but your ancestors came and massacred and stole the land. Yeah, you may have been born here, but you're still not a rightful heir to the land. And they're trying to act like they're stupid and can't realize that, but really you just being evil. You're just being evil.
Yes.
You've enjoyed all the riches and the wealth, and your time is up. Your time is up. Life is a cycle. Yes, life is a cycle. Your cycle is up. Now let somebody else enjoy the riches of the land. Go on about your business. Take your wealth and go on. Oh, God.
Been moving.
Yeah. All right. So I have a Did You Know Featherlight.
Okay.
That I'll share quickly. Leeks have cardioprotective benefits, and folate is present in leeks throughout the plant, including the full leaf portion. And this distribution of folate throughout the plant makes leeks a cardioprotective food from top to bottom. Leeks also have a generous amount of vitamin K, which benefits every tissue in the body, helping to regulate the blood flow.
Wow.
Leeks. And they're also a good source of vitamins B6 and C, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and fiber.
Wow. I don't ever hear anything about leeks.
Nope. I have to find a leeks recipe and then I'll post it on the page. And then for our gemstone for tonight, the Herkimer diamond. Many wealthy people, they will replace their real diamond with a Herkimer diamond because you really can't tell them apart. A Herkimer diamond looks more like a diamond than a cubic zirconia does. Herkimer diamond is very clear. So the appearance is clear, oily inner rainbows. It looks very glossy. It's beautiful. Beautiful. You can actually have it cut into any type of like a marquee diamond or whatever, pear shape, and it's going to look just like a diamond. Properties: energizing and enlivening, promote creativity. It's a stone of atonement, stimulates psychic abilities and dream recall. It's a detoxifier on all levels, protects against radioactivity, corrects DNA, and the tablet and balances, and the template, I believe that is, and balances balances and eliminates stress, promotes past life recall. You can wear this in a pendant or earrings. You can also place it. You can place it at the base of your spine or on the solar plexus. So this is another gemstone that you could use for when you're meditating during your 21-day solar plexus challenge. So remember, if you recall, when we spoke about the actual diamond, how it had a lot of limitations. It really wasn't as powerful as just even this Herkimer diamond.
Right.
Diamond does not correct your DNA.
No.
But you can get this little Herkimer diamond that you can probably go and get from a gem store for about $3.
Right.
And it'll help you more.
Right. Well, let's finish up with our music.
Yes, let's finish up with our music. I'm sorry. I jumped all into my other pieces.
Okay, so we were giving some ideas of reclaiming our culture in music, and we mentioned creating music that speaks to our truth, and we mentioned a couple of our artists, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Fifth Dimension, Nina Simone talking about strange fruit. Along with that, blood hanging from a tree.
Southern trees.
Social issue. Curtis Mayfield, Fred is dead, talking about the drugs that was affecting our people. Lauryn Hill, we just spoke about. Michael Jackson had a lot of messages, and of course,
Man in the Mirror.
Yeah, right. That's where it begins. He kept saying that's where it begins. If you want to see a change, start with the person
in the mirror.
And Tupac, of course, many messages there. Many messages telling us how just one person having a child while she was a child, how it affected our whole neighborhood. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? What's happening? Save the children.
What's going on?
You know, bring back the love. Bring back songs that lift the mood. Feel good songs like Frankie Beverly and Mays, songs that inspire.
Happy feelings in the air.
We don't have to tear down our mates and drag them through the cesspool to be famous, you know. So finish up with me for me.
So right. So many of the artists, female and male, profess to be conscious. We are conscious, and publicly defame another as if it means nothing. Or what are you doing with your consciousness? Because you're conscious. So conscious of what exactly? And what are you doing? So for a few pieces of silver and fame or butter biscuits, these people, they'll sell out one another. We can reclaim our culture and music by becoming aware of how the Matrix has used our talent to divide and conquer. As long as there is no love between our people, all is well. We have to love each other. So as long as there is in-house fighting, we can never address the real issues.
No.
As long as we are people that are more interested in pointing out and magnifying the flaws, hang-ups, vices of those who are right alongside us, oppressed right alongside us, we will never have the strength. We will never have the fortitude, the willpower to be our authentic selves, more powerful than we know. And as Oprah said, how we overcome. And in closing, and if we continue to turn on one another, claiming consciousness, claiming enlightenment, we will continue on the same path we have been for the past 100 years or so. Enlightenment comes with self-love.
Indeed.
Self-love.
Self-love. We've got to start there, and from there, it will just reach out. It will just, like we just said, it starts with each one of us individually.
Man in the mirror,
loving ourselves. Okay, before we get into the pranayama, I would like to share a TOL. I think we have a few minutes.
Yes.
Before we wind down. This was my first TOL, and I actually left something out of the first one because I had just made it, put it together a few days before, and I left out something that was very important. So I've tweaked this one. So this is a TOL. TOL, my friends, is thoughts out loud. We all have them, but sometimes it's good to share them. Let people know what you're thinking. Okay, so this is my thought out loud, and it's called Mother May I. Mother May I was a popular childhood game we played outside with about a dozen or so children and one leader out front, usually in a large field, and the goal was to reach and touch the leader first based on the commands given by the leader, or they were called mother. And the mother was a good distance away, and the mother would give a command to make a move, taking various steps, and the trick was to remember to ask for permission first by saying, Mother, may I?
Mother, may
For
I?
instance, during the course of the game, the leader would say, Black Rose, take 1 giant step, 3 baby steps, and 3 hops. And so Black Rose would say, Mother, may I? Mm-hmm. And so the leader or mother would respond, quite smugly, I might add, yes, you may. And so Black Rose would then proceed with the skips and the hops and what have you. Now, if Jackie started her little hops and skips without saying, Mother, may I? She'd have to go right back where she was. Because sometimes you get excited, that you've been called upon, because there's a lot of kids out there. And so when they call your name, you're like, oh, I get to move. And so they tell you, oh, take 2 hops and skip and a jump. Oh, and you start skipping and you're like, ha, go back. So no matter how far a person had come, if you didn't say, Mother, may I, sorry. Okay. So it was really great to be the leader. So because you were the mother and you're telling everybody when to move and how far, and then sending them back when they were all happy and giddy and stuff. So centuries ago, let's go back. Centuries ago, some Euro-Americans who had been kicked out of their own land because they were thieves and murderers and mentally insane and no longer wanted in their own land, traveled thousands of miles to capture Africans to work this land for free, and to literally own these captives, sell them and buy them like property, and control their entire lives as well as their children and their children's children. Now, these captives were not allowed to freely move about from one place to another without permission, and to fall in love and to marry the person of their choice was, oh my God, rare. And even then, the couple could be separated for profit with a simple handshake and no forewarning whatsoever, as could their children. Every move by these African captives required a Mother, may I, or Father, may I, as if they were children who never grew up, constantly seeking approval to take 1 giant step, 2 baby steps, or 3 hops and a skip. Even after the practice of individuals owning humans as property became illegal in this land, there were many Euro-Americans who just could not release their mental hold of human ownership, nor their imaginary sense of superiority. So rules were created to restrict the movement of the former captives, forcing them to seek permission and to be served in restaurants, seek permission to visit public parks. Wednesday was zoo day for blacks when I was coming up. That's the only day we could go to the zoo, on Wednesday. Or even boldly walk on the sidewalk. One black man was shot to death because he did not step to the side and tip his hat. And he was a soldier who had just come home from the war. So these former captives could be slapped, spit on, beaten, raped, and killed, and there was no accountability. And these rules were followed. These rules were nicknamed Jim Crow. So there are present-day Euro-Americans who still to this day mistakenly feel the descendants of these African captives need permission to freely move about, to function in their everyday lives, just like during Jim Crow. Permission to visit a public restaurant, permission to swim in a public pool, permission to study in an educational facility, permission to shop, permission to cut your own grass, permission to even quietly meditate. But au contraire, they are sadly confused, disillusioned, psychotic, and could not be more mistaken. We as African descendants of kings and queens no longer need to seek permission to make a move. Instead, we can and will move freely, not to gain privilege of touching the leader, not to assimilate or seek acceptance or approval, but to go in the direction of our hearts, in the direction of our spirit calling, in the direction of our will and empowerment, in the direction that we choose. There is no Mother May I not here, not now. Mother May I is for children. We are melanin-rich, exquisitely designed, magnificently talented human beings who have the right to take a giant step, 2 or 3 if we like, and there is no Mother May I coming with it. We're just going to move, and we will keep moving toward liberation for us all. Now skip on that. Namaste.
Namaste. The TOL.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes. Skip on that.
Skip on that. Now it is time for our rest and release, our R and R, breathing, our pranayama, our qi yang. You know, there's qi yang and there's qi gong. So some people that may say, "Oh, that mispronounced it." It's one of those words you can say either way, and everybody knows what you're saying. So let us take a deep breath. If you're sitting, that's fine. We can sit or we can stand, whichever you like.
Whichever you like.
Breath, whichever you like. Let me get my little. Rest your body. Practice some deep breathing from your belly.
Okay.
Your lower abdomen. Inhale. If it helps, place your hands on your stomach, your left hand over your right if you're female, reverse for males. And inhale and take your breath all the way to your stomach. And watch your hands rise as you inhale. And as you exhale, your hands should go down. And one should be very quiet as we're doing the pranayama. Inhale 4. Exhale 6. You know, breathing is so important to our health. It's something that we take for granted. You notice when you go for your physical, the doctor always puts a stethoscope on your chest and asks you to breathe, again. And that tells a lot about your health. And breathing tells a lot about your mental health as well. If you have shallow breathing constantly, you have a disease of the body. And I'm glad that all these years that I've been going to the doctor for my physical, when they do the breathe, I'm always so happy. I'm like, you know, no. So, because I was, you know, not a smoker, and so I'm blessed about that, and it's something that we take for granted. But when you take shallow breaths, you're actually shortening your lifespan. Take deep breaths as often as you can. Sometimes you can't because you're so frustrated and you're thinking about other things. But sometimes just take some deep breaths. It'll clear your head. You can think better. You can make better decisions. There's less stress.
Mm-hmm.
So relax your shoulders down. If you're not sure if they're down, just raise them up to your ears and let them gently fall back down. Inhale and slowly turn your head to the right. Align your chin with your right shoulder and keep your shoulder down. Exhale. Inhale again and bring your head back to the center. Exhale. Inhale and slowly turn your head to the left, aligning your head with your left shoulder and keeping your shoulder relaxed and down. Exhale. Inhale and return your head to the center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and lift your chin up to the ceiling. Exhale and drop it back down. Drop your chin down to your collarbone. Inhale back up. We're going to do a lotus flower closing Qigong. But first I want to share this lotus flower poem with you. Lotus flower is very symbolic, it's very spiritual, and it means quite a bit in different languages, including in different cultures, including our culture. A lotus flower begins growing at the bottom of a muddy, murky pool and slowly emerges towards the surface, bursting out of the water into a beautiful blossom. And so shall you emerge from the darkness and blossom into the beautiful soul you were created to be. Now I would like if you would stand, but if you prefer sitting, it's still okay. But if you stand tall with chin forward, shoulders back and relax. If you prefer to sit, do the same. Chin forward, shoulders back and relax. Inhale, exhale slowly. Now bring your hands to your chest in the Anjula Mudra, which is a symbol of praying hands. Bring it to about where your heart is, and this represents the flower of beauty, strength, and purity. So you're going to open the flower by opening the palms, but keeping the little fingers together and your elbows close to your body. And then breathe in is strength. As you exhale, close the flower with your two fists together. Now breathe in and push out your hands to the universe. Exhale and drop your hands and let it go. Inhale and swoop your arms up and out. Exhale, bring your arms down and then back into the Anjali Mudra, praying hands. Inhale. Exhale. Smile. It always helps to smile. Nod and repeat after me. The spirit in me honors the spirit in you.
Me honors the spirit in you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight in our show and on our pranayama and qigong session. You did very well. We'll see you next week. We start with the heart chakra next week. So
I look forward to that heart healing.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Featherlight. Namaste. I love that yoga flower. Thank you. Lotus flower. I love lotus flowers. Yeah. All right. You have a prosperous week. And all of you that are tuned in, have a prosperous, glorious week filled with abundance. May your cup overflow with abundance and prosperity. Namaste.
Thank you so much for listening. Namaste.